Check. 1 2 1 2. Bitter Games in the building. You know what it is. Let me adjust a few things here. We should turn off the music in the background. Let me do that. And let me do this. Now, first things first. My peoples come first. My peoples, those of you here, those of you no longer here, thought of, remembered. All right. Shout out to everybody in the mix right now. It's different. It's different. I had to do a show. I had to do another Why Always Me, and it's different. It's a lot later than I usually do. It's actually taking me back. I mean, this channel has been developed for a long time, but this used to be put in that quality time with wifey, kids to bed, and then it used to be gaming time. I.e., shout out to all my IEGA fellas out there. We would be gaming 10 till about midnight, and then we had to shut things down. But we're back. And this is episode 103 of Why Always Me. Didn't mean to make it rhyme, but I did it this time. All right, I'm gonna stop. Manchester City are more than a world class. Manchester City are more than world class. One game to add to history, but I'm gonna speak on why Manchester City are more than world class. I'm gonna break that all down, and you can see if you're new, do a second actually. If you're new, subscribe. All right, like don't mess around, subscribe. And if you're not new or you've been here before, you know how the whole thing kind of flows. You know, I got every topic, everything that's gonna get discussed in this show right here. And you know what? Nice and clean. I'm gonna give it 5 minutes, and honestly, it will be 5 minutes because I need to have this show really concise. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. So hopefully y'all enjoy. Now, what I do every show, I shout out that person in the comment. Even before I'm live, sometimes they're in the comments showing that support. And this show in particular, I have to call out no other than DC. DC happens to say, big up, Vader. What time to be a blue? Facts. Let's cherish these times so we can hold them close to us in the future when these golden years end. All things come to an end, DC. And knowing that you need to cherish, like you said, you need to enjoy, you need to embrace it. Don't take things for granted. Don't take things for granted. What I do every show, I shout out my peeps, and that's because you don't want to take your people for granted. People that are here and people that are gone, obviously. What do we all wish for? More time, right? So while we have the time, enjoy it. Dre P in the building. He goes, one more game, guys. One more game. The real mentality monsters at it. Facts. We don't have to brand like them. We know what it is. Hear the focus. No one of the city camp is saying that it's done. That's true. No one. Not even us. Not even the fans that should be moving arrogantly crazy. We're not even doing that. They're respecting West Ham, which we should. That's what you want. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. I got my man Staffy in the building. He goes 10 p.m. fraudulence. It's the only time I could do it. My daughter had an amazing 2 days of performing arts, so I had to go check that out. Get home a little later. Things got kind of out of whack for the last 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's the last week of the year. Everything's coming up. I'm getting mad link ups. Yo, Vader, can you do this? Can you do that? Family's first. My daughter's first. So, Staffy, I'm here. It's 10 p.m. I'm here. You know what I mean? If anything disrupts me being able to do content, being able to link up with you on shows, anyone else that has me featured, if I get pulled away, it's because of family. First and foremost. But again, hit that like button if you haven't. Share this in the group chat. Send it out. Like, yo, there's Vader. He's live now. He's live. Let's get something popping. I'm going to do my best to keep the comments a part of the show, but I do want to keep things nice and concise. All right. Dre P in the building goes, family comes first. 100%. 100%. So we're going to keep this nice and clean. If there comes a moment when I'm thinking of my rivals, maybe even I'm even thinking of my own blues. if there's something that's coming up and I think it might be a little too tough to hear, I'm gonna give you the earmuffs, that little earmuffs, clip it. You'll know. Time to be quiet until I let you know otherwise. And I'll do something like this. I'll do something like this so you can remove the earmuffs. But let's keep this nice and clean.
Vader game.
Studio mode. We're gonna make sure we got that, and we're on the clock now. Before all of you rivals, even you Blues kind of tease me about Vader. You always say that you got tough games. You're always pointing out why things are challenging. That was a tough game versus Spurs. That was a tough game versus Spurs. And I was debating whether I was going to actually use some highlights to kind of show what happened in the game. But this is so fresh. This game just happened on Tuesday. But what I want to speak about, which everybody knows because it's been talked to death. We don't win. We don't win at this new Tottenham Spurs stadium. We don't win there. We haven't been winning there. Not only have we not been winning there, we haven't been scoring. I know that's crazy. You think of Manchester City, what do you think about? You think about scoring. You think about big chances. You think about big chances, just chances created. You think about the monster that we have in Holland. We score for fun. That's what we can do. Not at this place. Not at this place. We weren't able to score there. So it was going to be a tough game. And I felt going in that I was confident that we were going to get the win. Listen, I'd be silly if I said, I don't have to go through the whole thing of what we did last year, but the fact that we're defending champs, I'll put it that way. We're defending champs of the Prem. I thought we'd go into this game confident to be able to get it done because we had the marker of Arsenal being top of the league. So we couldn't afford any points to be slipped, any points to be dropped, right? So I was confident that we would get this win. And then on top of that, I was like, you know what? It may not be a pretty one. It may not be a sexy one. It may be one of those set piece, penalty, fluky, deflected, ricochet. It might be one of those, but it wasn't that. It was an absolute fight, and it was a fight for the first half. And again, I said this on the Football Terrace, and I'm going to say this here on my show. I could not have asked for a better play out of that. I could have not asked for a better fight versus Tottenham Spurs. Listen, did they have a lot to play for? In the grand scheme of things, yes, new manager, they want to win as much as they can. They can get results again in Manchester City, again, defending champions, three-peat, right? Treble winners. They're gonna bring their best. That's to be expected. The way this game played out, the way we had every rival, and there's a reason why I'm using this dramatic voice right now. We had every rival praying, begging, and literally pray-alongs for our downfall. They wanted us to drop points, and all we needed to do was get a draw or a loss, but a draw would have been enough for Arsenal to be in the driver's seat for this final day. It was 0-0 going into halftime. We had our chances. Did we look polished? Did we look like our prime self? No, I think we were a little sloppy. But it was 0-0, and all these rivals were loving it. Especially, Arsenal. They were loving this. Everybody that's hating on Manchester City because the four-peat's going to be bad for the league, bad for the Prem, bad for history because of their past history. Everybody was rooting against them. So when you have a United, when you have a Liverpool, when you have an Arsenal, we'll argue, we'll concede largest fan bases, all of them rooting against Manchester City. That doesn't go anywhere. That energy's looming. That energy's it's pressure. It's felt. And you could see it in how the players were playing because they were sloppy. They weren't clean. But they fought. They fought. They fought and they got the result. And the result was beautiful because it illustrated, it highlighted team play. It wasn't one of those fluky deflected goals. If anything, it was a signature Manchester City goal. Right? It was a signature Manchester City goal. When you want to look at Foden being in the mix, the pass before the pass, when you want to look at what KDB is able to do after getting the ball off of Bernardo Silva, and if you want to look at across the box Haaland, that's probably one of the most signature goals you'll get from Manchester City. Absolutely beautiful. And I could hear the dagger. I could hear the dagger in the rival's chest. I could hear that pain. Could go back and forth fighting. It was only one goal up. So if Spurs got a goal, it's a draw and it's disaster for us. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw Son racing down on what was Ortega and not Ederson, I would have had again. Listen, I got confidence in Ederson and Ortega, but when I saw Son racing down on Ortega, I was like, oh damn, we're gonna have to fight for a second goal. Ortega comes up huge, huge. And I'm not lying to you. If it was Ederson or Ortega, I think that gets stopped. That's the confidence I have in Ederson ever since last season. That Champions League run, next level. But he stops it. And he stops it. And if you didn't notice, Ortega was in that net because of Ederson. Again, courage, bravery. He put his body on the line to actually stop an opportunity between him and Romero. I can't ask for anything else. That is a keeper. And when you have that type of guts, trickles down to everybody. But I'm going back to what Ortega did. Huge stop. And almost like classic EAFC 24 or FIFA, for those of you that played it back in the day. When you miss on one end, what happens? The ops comes down the other end and score. We happen to do that. Shout out to my man Jeremy Doku. Rivals, I can't hear you anymore. Rivals, I'm not hearing you. You know, you're not as loud as you used to be. Even some of you Blues kind of doubting Doku's contribution, what he would mean. You can see it. Give the man time. Give the man time, just like we've given any other City player coming to the club time. But he was dynamic. Game changer. Wins us the penalty. And I've said this. I'm going to continue to say this. My heart rate, like, dude, my heart rate doesn't change. Penalties, heart rate doesn't change. When some can't look, you got to turn away. You don't want to jinx anything. I'm dead eyes watching that because I know Holland's going to put it away. We've got our penalty taker. We've been having him for a while. 2-0 late. That second goal was late in that game. And I am not lying to you. Every rival preying on our downfall. Pray alongs. Couldn't ask for anything better. I love it. Absolutely love it. We got one more game to go to actually make history again. And not when I say history, I think I'm talking about making Prem history. We're making club history. That's happening often with how these players have been contributing, how these fans have been supporting them, how the club has been so relentless. We are making Prem history. Like DC said early in the show, we got to enjoy all of this. We got to live it up. We got to cherish it. The 2-0 was absolutely perfect. And I want to address a few things, which I'm going to do moving forward. Let me go to the comments before I switch up where the conversation is going to go. Let me see. Gundo in the mix. Oh, Gundo saying send a link. I will do that, my man. I will do that. And as well, if you happen to be on Twitter X, I see by that symbol, Gunnalorian's on Twitter X. If you're on Twitter X, take a second, go over to YouTube. That it's free, but it helps me tremendously. Go over to YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. It's tremendous for the channel. Let me talk to Dre P. City showed real character. Spurs were good. Ortega the hero. Signed on a free, but Ops won't talk about that. Ops don't want to talk about anything. You know what Ops want to talk about? Ops want to talk about, oh, you're only here because of your owners. Ops want to talk about, oh, you're only here because you won the lottery. Clowns. And you know what? I'm holding. Y'all seen Braveheart? You seen Braveheart? There's a scene where Mel Gibson is, I forget his character, but he's telling his team, his tribe, to hold because the English are coming down, right? They're cavalry. They're on horses. They got spears or swords, but they're holding like these long spears that are kind of hidden. He's saying hold. hold before he brings up like the booby trap. Perfect. I'm holding. I'm holding all these rivals that want to talk. I'm holding. I'm holding on because again, I do need to win one more game. I'm gonna talk before the FA. I'm gonna talk before the FA. We got to win on Sunday. Sunday's gonna be tremendous. We win on Sunday, and I'm unleashing. I'm unleashing. You think I'm just doing this for fun? I am kind of, but I also pay attention. And everybody has their own unique story on how they became a fan. I take I don't even take offense because I see the immaturity in how others want to judge, oh, you became a fan when or how, but I'm going to unleash on some rivals. And it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. Let me continue with the comments. Rosemarie, my gal. My gal, Rose, what's good? She goes, good night, Vader. So happy for the win against Spurs at their home. The drama surrounding this match was so hilarious. Yes, it was a soap. It was a soap opera. Expressions had me in stitches. Yo, my man. Yo, pure comedy quality over there. Love me some Manchester City. Rose, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm gonna get to the comments. I'm gonna send the link to Gunnalorian shortly. Dre, Arsenal was so lucky. Bruno fit 3 days later to play Newcastle. Must have been a headache he had Sunday. Dre P. Dre P. Let me address this right now, Dre P. Let me address this right now. Do I? Damn it. Dre P, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm conflicted. All right, I'm going to talk about it. North American. All right, clear. You hear it in my voice. Whatever. I watch a lot of sports, right? And the word tanking is something that unfortunately has been pretty consistent with regards to any of the North American sports that have drafts, right? The worse that you do, the more probability, the more chance you have at getting very good incoming talent. Tanking. Now, sometimes you can look or you can be unsophisticated, not very savvy with how you tank, but then sometimes you can tank like beautiful art form, like something that could not be spotted by the naked eye, could not be easily detected. And over the years, I've noticed some of the signs. I'm gonna share that with you. Maybe the manager happens to have a few players that he says are injured. Maybe a few players are suggested to get surgery before the season's over. Maybe the manager chooses to play younger talent to see whether they can have an impact in the upcoming season. And again, some players, quote unquote, have that injury that you can't really verify, you can't really detect. Players saying, I'm feeling some pain in my back. How do you really assess the back pain, right? Sophisticated, no questions, no this debate whether it's good to win or good to lose because your rivals get a win and that's what you want because another rival actually loses. Because well, let's break this down. Because many were ready to talk about how Spurs and their fans wanted their own club to lose because it would mean that Arsenal wouldn't be able to win another league title that Spurs have not won. Understand it. Is it something that you express verbally, aggressively for everyone to hear? No. But the sentiment, we all understand it. And we've all heard it. We've seen it from rivals. We've heard them talk about this. Now, you think United fans want to see City raise their armpits? You think United fans want to see City raise their armpits for a 4P? No. No. They would sooner rather Arsenal get their 14th league title than City get their 10th, which is a 4-peat, right? They'd sooner do that. How do they do that? How do they do that so they don't get questioned? So there's no scrutiny. Happen to not have your Bruno, your Rashford, arguably the two best players on your club, play versus Arsenal, right? I've seen tanking. I've seen it done in a sophisticated way. I've seen it. I know it. And it stinks. I smelt it from jump. United, you're not going to get questioned. You're not going to get talked about. But trust me, and I've heard it. I was on a few panels. I felt the hatred from some key people with regards to their ear to the fan base. They don't want City to win this 4-peat. They'd rather Arsenal do what they do. And when you have United that have a chance to influence a positive result for the lesser of what they want in Arsenal winning the league, they happen to play that game with no Bruno, no Rashford. Y'all think about it. I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all think about it. DC in the building. She goes, I had so many panic attacks. This team will kill me. But what a way to go. DC, listen, I've got some amazing kids. They don't add stress. They don't add stress to my life. These right here, these platinums right here, coming on heavy. Why do we make it so difficult? Why does City? Why do we stress it out? Why is it done the hard way? Man, that game was stressed, but it was so entertaining. The the excitement was huge, very reminiscent. Obviously, not as late in terms of the final game of the season. This is the second last game into the season, but the doubt on whether we were going to do it because we could not afford to drop points was insane. I absolutely loved it. DC section in the building. Hey, Vader and Blues. What it do? Showing some love out there. And Dre P goes, that's how tough the Prem is, DC. Don't let them ever downplay these teams' achievements. They want to downplay it. They want to make it seem like it's easy. They want to make it seem all that it is having owners that, quote unquote, spend. If they did their homework, they'd realize, okay, early days, realizing that there was this much of a gap between the teams that were winning and where City were, and before FFP was a thing, it was like, yeah, let's try to accelerate this. Let's try to give that cash influx and get to competing. When they realize, ooh, another threat's coming into the mix, nah, FFP on you, City. Arsenal, Liverpool, United, you all never had to do it. When you guys tried to do when you went through your whole glory and success, yeah, you were the big spenders at the time when you did it. Never had FFP. And you know why FFP came in? Under the guise of protecting clubs from not going bankrupt, from not dissolving. But they knew winning meant spending, and they saw what Manchester City were going to be able to spend. FFP. So when and I'm not having the conversation yet, we got one more game to go. But when we win the title that I'm really hoping that we can, and I said that I'm about to unleash on these rivals didn't have to win with FFP. FFP was 2013. Coincidentally, the last time Sir Alex Ferguson was manager in the league. They did what they did. These rivals that want to talk about history, they want to talk about manufactured, they want to talk about plastic. They did all of what they did without FFP restricting them, without FFP making it a even playing field. Oh, that's the thing. The thing with all of that, all of the talk, all of the cover-ups, all of the spins, it's just going to get exposed. I can't wait. I can't wait for the conversation. We got to wait until Sunday. Yo, United Spurs of America, my dude, late night Vader settings. Yeah, man, I'm trying to do this, and I'm already over talking. I need to be a lot more concise. So let me add my man Gundalorian in the mix. I'm going to try to keep the flow going. Let me also make sure that. All right, 1 sec. Apologies for those of you listening, not watching. I'm just quickly sending out a link and a text. All right, that was too much dead air. My apologies. I know I shouldn't be asking you, but if you haven't hit that like button, please hit the like button. All right, let me send this link out to Gunalorian. Good looking out. He's on the East Coast as well. Boom. Invite. And I would like a few of you that are kind of regular in the comments. If you got no problem being on screen, you know what? In the future, I'd like to include you guys and girls, into some combos. All right, let me do this. Appreciate my man Jacob in the building. Vader game. All right, listen. You know what I find very fraudulent, almost dumb, silly, is how rivals want to categorize big games, how they want to categorize ghosting, right? How they want to do that whole, positioning. They're going to look at Tottenham, Spurs, and say, you know what? That wasn't a big game. Like, they're going to look at the end of the year or many years from now, they're going to be like, oh, Haaland scored 2 versus Spurs. That wasn't a big game. Let's be real. Haaland doesn't ghost. Haaland doesn't shy away. Haaland is a big game player. I'd rather Haaland, no disrespect to the Spurs fans right now, I'd rather Haaland over Harry Kane. This man showed up in big games. This man delivered in a big game. And you know why this was a big game? This was at a grounds where we've never scored before in the league. I know what we did in the FA. In the league, we've never scored there before. We've never won there before. What does this man do on the second last game of a title-winning season? Scores 2. I can't entertain any talks about him not being a good player. I can't entertain any talks about him not being good on the eye. Like, who cares? Who cares? He doesn't compare to a player that's 5'7", low center of gravity, size 8 feet, doesn't have to clunk around, easy to shift the ball around. It's very rare for a man his size to be skillful on the eye. Pretty on the eye, I should say. Skillful, yes, but pretty on the eye, not so much. And when you do mention those, they're unicorns. They're not of the average. I point out, Haaland is a striker I will take in a minute. In a minute. For who's available today, take in a minute. There's a mentality to him. There's a confidence to him. Haaland doesn't show up, doesn't score in big games, ghosts. I don't want to hear that anymore. And if you're going to then discredit this Spurs win, you're downright dumb. Because this is a huge game. This is a tremendous game, right? And I see y'all in the comments. I want to show love and stay on track here. Yo, much respect. I got a TJ raid. He's an op. TJ is an op, but I respect him nonetheless. We have some very good back and forth conversations on football, and I want to shout out and respect the raid. Warrior in the building, AJ in the building. DC's reminding everybody, Site till I die. Yo, AJ, big up every time, my guy. AJ, good looking out. Sunshine in the building. See, Sunshine, she may have a nice smile, right? She may come across all like, oh, good vibes, nice and chill. Oh, She's got a nasty streak to her. I was timed out for the first time on her channel. I've never been timed out ever. As whatever I've said over the years, I've never been timed out until I was on her channel. Crazy. Yo, the raid is much appreciated. This is late hours for me. This is like quiet storm hours. For those of you young in the chat right now, you may not know what after hours is all about, but yeah, these are kind of like after hours. Big up Vader. Yo, TJ, good looking out. Hit the like button, like Sunshine has to say. Marsh, how do you assess a hernia pain? How do you assess the pain? You could only get feedback based off of the patient. Patient's got to tell you, and they do the scale of 1 to 10 severity or whatever. That's how they judge it. And a player can determine whether they can play or not, whether they can get a local, pain numbing injection and play through it. But yeah, there's no real way to determine that. Good looking out, Marshall. 11 likes. Get the likes up. Get the likes up. I see y'all. I see the interaction. I appreciate it. And let me stay on topic as well. If any of you from the raid, if any of you ops question Holland and it's directed towards me, I'm ignoring you. He can have a bad game. It's possible. It'll happen. No player's going to be perfect. But if you're going to question this man as a player, I'm ignoring you. I'm gonna go old school and cover up my ears. I'm not going to hear anything. Do that. Just do that. We're all grown. You probably haven't done that in years. Just put your hands over your ears. You don't hear anything. That's what I'm going to do to you guys. If you want to start questioning Holland, man's a beast. Man is a beast. What am I waffling about? Sunshine, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I was on your channel and I got timed out. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm embracing all of these 115s. You think these 115s bother me? You know what my next show's about? My next show's going to be about 115. My last show was about 115. My last show was actually, shout out to my man Jacob. My last show, I spoke about how Spurs should be studied in a good way. Spurs should be studied in a good way. I talked about that on my one question, and I have next right now, but it's one question, 15 minutes, 115. My next show, I think my next show, I'm going to talk about, what am I talking about on my next show? Maybe I should talk about, I think I'm going to talk about how FSG are the second best owners in the league. I think I might talk about that. But let me get back to the show. Y'all got me derailed. Don't question Holland anymore. You look silly. You look silly if you do that. Now, let me also reset this. Try my best to keep this on script. All right. And we're going to move that there. Player protection from dangerous fouls. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that. Vader game. Okay, let me start the clock. Okay, listen. Some of you that know ball in the chat, some of you frauds, can you guys do me a favor? And you can say, like, listen, Vader put me on this, and that's why I'm doing it. If I happen to do a watch along, which I might do a watch along on the final day. I think that'd be really cool. I've done 2 watch alongs before. I did one on Twitch, and I didn't announce it. I just did it. And then I did another one where I've done 3 watch alongs. I did a watch along on my own, did it on Twitch. We won, so I didn't jinx anything. I did another watch along where it was a Super Cup, so I joined Shades of Blue, and joined them. And then my last watch along, I actually joined that guy in the chat, that fraud with the 115s. I joined TJ, and I only joined him for half of the show, or half of the game when it was Arsenal versus City, just half. But I might do a watch along on the final day. I might do it, or I might feature on someone's channel, because I may not want to host everything the way my studio is right now. But please, when we're watching games, I've been noticing this against Manchester City. Maybe you guys can tell me I'm crazy, but I often see Foden in particular. You know how he gets that ball on that half turn, quarter turn. He's now squared up. He's now running downhill. He's able to spray a pass. And the thing that I love about Manchester City players and Pep and what he's got ingrained is he doesn't want them to pass the ball like instantly. I can see how these instructions are set up. He wants the opposing player to get to them as last second as possible before the pass is released, right? And I see Foden do this often within the midfield, and him being central, I absolutely love. But the reason why I want to point out that player protection from dangerous fouls, or should I say tactical fouls, need to be addressed. Because in this game against Spurs, all right, this is no waffle. In this game against Spurs, Foden on 2 occasions, and the first one is like imprinted on my brain. Foden has the ball. He's now running downhill. He's looking to spray a pass. And as he releases the pass, Højbjerg takes him out. Referee says play on. But Højbjerg obviously takes out Foden. So Foden can't be a part of that. I believe it was KDB and Holland that were going to be running down onto Spurs, right? But he takes out Foden, so Foden's not part of that. I think that needs to be a yellow. He lets play go on, but he doesn't go back. And I've been noticing that a little too often, especially on Foden. Those of you in the chat, please look at that. I'm not saying look for a Manchester City standpoint. Look to see if you see that happening for your clubs as well. Because I think the refs are missing it. I think things need to kind of fix. Because you get too many of those injuries, they pile up. I saw KDB have to come out. He didn't come out because he was like, he went into a 50-50 and it was kind of risky. He went in because it was a hard tackle that's trying to prevent him from continuing on with regards to his distribution. Absolutely disgusting. I see my man, Gundalorian, pitch points in the building. I'm going to bring him to the mix. I'm going to ask him whether he sees the same thing, and we're going to go on and briefly talk about West Ham. Gundalorian, my guy, how you been? Good to have you on the show.
Hey, David. How are you, man? It's late. It's 10 p.m., 10:30 Eastern time, man.
I know.
Late today. You okay?
I'm not late. I'm pretty good. I was like, you know what? I didn't put any content out this week. The schedule's been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Let me at least try to speak on, especially after that Spurs win. So, yeah. How you feeling? You good?
Yeah. I'm doing okay.
Yeah. No, the support's been great. I see the chat. I'm trying to keep up with everything. A few rivals out there with the jokes and the comments, but it's all love. I want to ask you. I painted like an example of Foden in the midfield releasing a pass. Højbjerg in my mind, and I wish I could play it maybe on another day, because I think I was able to kind of get around the copyright, at least here in North America. I think there's a way that I can do it. But Foden releases the pass, and then Højbjerg takes him out, so he can't continue running in the attack. The ref says play on, but he does not go back to provide a yellow. Have you noticed that in like previous plays? Manchester City in particular?
Against us?
Yeah, like us in attack, one of our players releases a pass, hard foul or tactical foul, whatever. But
I've seen it happen.
Now, am I being a little too end of season fidgety? I want this called.
No, I mean it's big games like this. These guys don't like to give easy fouls yellow cards because they don't want to have double yellow and a red. They don't want to screw the balance of the game.
But I thought all the calls go Manchester City's way. Like we should be getting these calls then.
Yeah. It doesn't happen that way, man.
Yeah, this myth about us getting all these calls. Now, you you were able to watch the performance versus Spurs. We
Yeah.
briefly talked at halftime. Let me give full transparency for all of you in the chat. My Blues know it's all good. You rivals may not know, but there's enough of us to have a group chat. All right. And at halftime in particular, if we happen to see things that our eyes are saying we want to see tweaked, we want to see adjusted, we comment quickly, do a full video call or just straight call, and we talk it over. Now, what you were looking for after that first half and what you were stressing, did you see that in the second half?
I just wanted us to not to show too much respect.
Mm,
Just not too much respect. Because oftentimes we often do that, right? We'll show too much respect. We pass the ball from side to side. We don't really penetrate, and then before you know it, it's halftime. Then you have 45 minutes to get through it. So I just didn't want us to show the respect that we showed in the first half. And I think
I hear
second
it.
half we did that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think there was also there were definitely some nerves. There are definitely some nerves in that game because of the magnitude of like it wasn't just losing, like a draw was going to be disastrous. So I think we saw a little bit of that within the players, but when we look at and see how they fight, that's what that's what I remember the most. Like
Yeah.
this game and the fight from the players was tremendous.
Mm.
Um, I'm gonna ask you this: now that we've handled Spurs, right? What how you feeling? How you feeling for Sunday?
I feel great. I feel incredible. I feel the same way I felt going to the Spurs game. You have to understand my mentality about this team, Beta. And here's my mentality. If we win nothing, there's nothing that can change how I feel about this team.
Mm,
There's nothing. And I think we as fans sometimes get caught up in, oh, we're going to get taken the Mickey out of by our rivals. Let's be clear. Our rivals haven't won a treble in the past 10, 20 years. Rivals haven't
true.
won 5 trophies, neither 100 points, no formidables. Rivals haven't played and won a title with a false nine. Rivals haven't played and won a title without wingers or without fullbacks.
Mm,
We've changed the game. We've created blue ocean, Vita. For those who don't know what that means, go check it out. Blue ocean is when you don't go into the red ocean of competition where everybody's kind of feeding frenzy like all the rivals are. You go and create a new lake, new ocean, new clear view for you to dominate. That's what it means. Just when Arteta and Pep feel like Arteta feels that he's using his fullbacks to invert to the middle. Klopp is now using Trent as an inverted fullback into the middle. Pep says, I got you. I'm going to change the whole thing again. I ain't playing John Stones in inversion. I'm going to play 2 wide wingers in my fullbacks. I'm going to play 3 and a 2 and a 2. I'm going to play a box in the middle with a double 10 and a double 6, 2 wide wingers, and I'm going to let Haaland just float around to kill you. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, and by the way, because I know that when I'm playing my 3-2-2, 3-2-2, 3-2-4-1, right? I know my weakness is playing Diaz back there. I'm gonna put Akanji back there because he has pace. So Walker pushes up to the right hand side, right, to be a winger, a right winger, and Guarda pushes to the left hand side. For pace coverage, I have Akanji who can match most strikers to recover.
fair, fair.
Right? Ergo, he solves the problem of John Stones getting injured all the time, which means John Stones needs to think about his career because, boy, if you can't start and you get injured, that role that you were doing before, it may have been toast. It may be old news because the man has changed. The man has changed.
Yeah.
He's found a way. He's found a way to play De Bruyne and Phil Foden as a double number 10s.
Hmm.
Just think about that for a moment. He found a way. Oh, and by the way, one last thing while I'm on this monologue. He's found a way to generate more goals, more assists from a left back than his winger. These are facts.
Okay, that was not necessary, Gundo. That was not.
Yeah, I'm just stating the facts that
Yeah, I know, I
the
know.
genius of this man is the man who solves problems.
Yeah.
He
No.
solves problems and challenges. Rather than say, I'm going to play you through your struggles, he's saying, you're injured, you're not fit, you get sick, I'm going to bench you because I have a different solution to the problem.
Mm.
That's elite mentality.
I agree. I mean, I agree with you. I think what I also find, and this is how I look at ball, is sometimes it's not necessarily the player by position that needs to be occupying some of those spaces in the final third, but it's the player being brave to occupy the space with the ball or to occupy and show to take that shot. So when you mention Gavardio, and I know it was a little playful joke there, but when because we've seen sometimes a 3-player triangle where
This
they
is
pass
it,
the ball
Vita.
around
This is it, Vita.
and they're able
Right?
to get into that space. So, but
Yes.
for him to now get into that gap or space and be confident to take on a player, take that shot, you're like, oh, we see this. We need more of this. And when we've quote unquote been a little critical of the wingers on the left not taking their chances, it's that in particular. So, no, I hear all of that.
Mm.
I want to shout out my man Gio in the building. Gio goes, when Garbadio becomes a center back, he's going to be crazy.
He
The
doesn't need to
fact
be
that
a center back.
he's going to have that versatility, Gio, like think of it. In game, Pep can give those instructions and have the fluidity,
Yeah.
right? It's not necessarily like he needs to start in that position. He can be able to move back and forth. And what we've also seen is Akanji start at right back. Unfortunately, an injury to Ake has him come off the pitch. Akanji occupies what Ake's doing. Walker comes in, and then we see that versatility of a player going from the right side to the left side, like absolutely amazing. Staffy in the building, he goes, I'm taking notes for Monday. This
I
man's
mean,
taking
it's
notes for Monday.
incredible. I mean, it's so incredible that I talk about the fact that I coach some U15s, and
Mm-hmm.
today we're working on positional play. Right? Here's where
Yeah.
you stay. Here's your zone. And the whole positional play thing talks about, and I want people to notice this. I think it's the key. People get confused sometimes when they're watching the game around how these guys know how to move and where to move, right? So I'm going to give you some insight. So I coach at the academy
Mm-hmm.
here in the US and stuff, right? So they give
Yeah.
us
Listen, viewers, if you don't know, I don't have bums. I don't have scrubs on my channel,
yeah.
especially late night. I don't want to waste your time. Gundalorian, he's y'all stop. I don't even want to see 105 in
No,
the
no,
chat. But he's
don't.
part of the city football group with regards to the coaching and the development. And he works with young talent. So when he's breaking down some of these tactical, some of these philosophies with regards to coaching, he knows what he's talking about. So I'm literally I'm sitting down. I don't need to take notes because this is being recorded, but I'm
Yeah,
listening. All
yeah,
right. Go ahead.
yeah. So it's the basic principles that they when they teach us about how to teach the kids about. First thing is ball mastery. The kids have to have mastery of the ball.
Mm.
Right? So everything they do is with the ball. In the old days, you'd run 5 miles before you start the ball. No, that's on. They don't do that. Everything you do is with the ball. Basic stuff with the
Okay.
ball, right? Ball mastery, skill zone. Move with the ball left foot, out foot, inside out. Do a trick, do a flick, do a cock croy, do a Maradona, or whatever it is. And they go into technical rondo stuff. Then they go into small-sided games, 1v1, 2v2s, 3v3s, and then they go into the full game, 5v5, 7v7s. Small-sided games to see lots of touches. But the two, three things to talk about. One is that in the 11v11 system, like the first team and EVS play, 4-3-3, you never want to have more than 2 players in a vertical plane and no more than 3 in a horizontal plane.
Yeah.
Right? So
You
again,
know,
no more than
you know what?
yeah,
This is actually like standard. I'm not gonna say elementary, but if City fans that have done their homework, they've kind of like looked at some of the pep breakdowns. They've kind of like looked at
yeah,
the different zones. Yeah, this is very
yeah,
very
yeah.
familiar.
So
Very
I'll repeat
familiar.
again. Think about it. Think about your field, right? So think about Edison as a goalkeeper. You have the back 4. You have the number 6 or 2 6s, 2 10s, and wingers in number 9. Right? The
Hmm.
spread of all those players, right? You do not want to have more than 2 vertical. So Edison to Holland, vertical. No more than
Yeah,
2 in the same plane or the same line, and then no more than 2 horizontal. So think about
yeah,
from
yeah.
Walker to Akanji, right? You
I'm
want
with
to
you.
have them in a no more than 2 and 3. This allows you to create triangles and diamonds all over the whole field.
I'm with it.
So let's say Walker drops into Diaz's position. Diaz will drop out to his position to create those. Again, no more than 2, no more than 3.
Yeah,
The
and
second principle.
this is also going back to the title of this. Manchester City are more than world class, and it was a little playful on words. We're not world class in terms of every player by position isn't world class, but the way you see so much versatility, I honestly believe the way ops look at how our squad is, they're kind of like they mislabel so much quality that we have to think that every player is phenomenal world class players. Pep, in my humble opinion, makes them greater than what they are because it's the sum of all parts rather than individuals. We've heard this from time. Liverpool want to claim all the world class players that they have with regards to Allison, Van Dijk, Trent, Salah. I think they were trying to sneak in McAllister in there. You guys can do all of that. When it comes down to, oh, you only want to tell me that KDB is world class, maybe you'll give me Rodri, but then you'll say Holland, he's a tap in. You'll tell me Foden's not quite there yet. You'll tell me Bernardo Silva, he's a utility guy, he's not quite there yet. That's all fine. But the versatility that they show and what Gunnar Lorne was just breaking down with regards to triangles, and triangles create havoc on that pitch because you actually have to swivel. You got to pay attention to too. But I want to speak more on this because again, even from a tactical breakdown, I want to do a lot more of this. Hopefully, featuring you or even me featuring on your channel. I want to get into the Arsenal win versus United, and I want to ask you. One, were you surprised? And I'm gonna start the clock. Were you surprised at at Arsenal's close win to United?
No.
The 1-0 didn't surprise you.
No, because in reality, if United had all their full squad fit and firing, Arsenal don't win that game.
Ooh, I agree. I agree.
They don't win if Bruno Fernandes was fit, Varane was fit.
I think United. If I'm going to do my conspiracy, I think United did a sophisticated, well disguised tank. And you, Gundo, you're familiar with tanking. I think they purposely or suspiciously held out Rashford and Bruno.
Possible, who knows? But if those guys were ready and fit, I don't think they win that game. I think Garnacho, as good as he is young, so he's kind of overstepping, overplaying balls out of nervousness. It's normal because young kid. I don't think they do win that game, but they won and we responded back.
We did respond back. Toughest ground. Shout out to my man Jacob in the building. That Spurs. There's a video out there. I hate playing there. I still hate playing there. I know we got the result 2-0, but I still hate playing there. Maybe a couple more results this way, things will change. But we responded after they got their win over United. Now we go into the final day. They play Everton. We play West Ham. You already said you're confident going up against West Ham. What do you? I know it doesn't matter. We handle our business, but what do you think? What would you expect Arsenal to do on the final day? You expect that to win?
Yeah, I expect them to win. They're at home. Sean Dyche will do Sean Dyche things. It's a difficult game. Yeah, I expect them to win.
Gundo, when your voice kind of does the, it's not.
You just never know. I mean,
that's what I'm hearing.
Something happened. Listen, let me explain something to you. Right?
Okay.
Last year they went close. They dropped off by 5 or 6 points. City won the league. They're going in this year. They'll get the highest ever points total in their entire history. And it may not be enough again. They get Declan Rice for £100 million. They have Odegaard fit. They have Partey fit. Everybody's fit and fine. No injuries. Everybody's sound. Jesus even fit. Martinelli's fit. They have Trossard they bought. They have all these guys that they added. They spent $700 million in 5 or 6 years, and yet it may not be enough.
Wait, who said Ten Hag was young? Someone said Ten Hag was young.
No.
He's young. He's new in the job. Ten Hag's new on the job, but
he's 50-something years old.
Yeah. He's grown. He's grown.
Yeah. So and it still may not be enough. So when you go into that last game, and you got the other guy in the street playing West Ham, which they should win. Do we really? I mean, do I fight? Do I go? What do I do? If it's to score a goal, what happens to the atmosphere?
Yeah, I'm like this topic was put on the screen here. Arsenal winning versus United. I expected to win, and honestly, I see Staffy in the building. I didn't expect it to be a 1-0, especially with no Bruno or Rashford. And this is why I'm agreeing with you, Gunnar. Had Rashford and Bruno been there, I think that's a different result. I think Arsenal draw points, but conveniently, United had those two players out. They obviously don't want City to win this four-peat, so them giving points to Arsenal happens to be convenient. But
I don't know because I mean,
no. I know this is all speculating. I'm not accusing. I'm not being
yeah,
accusatory. I'm just saying it
yeah,
just
they
happens
still
to
have
be
Europe. They
so
still
very
had Europe
convenient.
on the line, right? So the Conference League, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I said, I mean, maybe they don't want that, but yeah, it's. I wasn't bothered by that result. I just think we just have to win our games.
Yeah, I think Arsenal win. They won versus United. They're winning versus Everton. I have no problems. But I think that's happening. We have to handle business. It's going to be dramatic, yes, because both clubs need to win. If anyone gets scored against, I don't even think that's really going to phase them. I think it's just going to add to more drama, and it's going to be a win for Arsenal, a win for City. That's what I'm looking at. Staffy goes, Vader. We didn't tank. This isn't basketball. Laughing out loud. Okay, hey, you didn't tank, but Rashford and Bruno conveniently were left out of the starting lineup. Starting lineup. That's basketball. Um, but they happened to play just a few days later. I'm just saying, it's kind of convenient. And it was a 1-0. Arsenal drop points if you guys have Bruno and Rashford. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you guys, Staffy, be honest, you're cool if Arsenal win the league. I'm not going to say you're cool with losing to Arsenal, but you're cool with Arsenal winning the league. Now, I see all the comments. I want to keep this show nice and concise and on flow as well. And again, if there's comments that I don't get to, I will do my best to come back to it. Martin earlier said man is alive. I think he's just joking with regards to me not being so consistent with the content. I think the Ten Hag may have been referenced in terms of new to managing, not necessarily young manager, because obviously, yeah, him and Pep are similar in age. I want to tackle this, which section mentioned. It's when with regards to teams, and now
Mm.
sorry, actually, City mentioned this. City Sharks goes, they hate on us because we are history makers, and they say it's boring. What a joke! Listen, City, I don't know if you're following Mancunian Way or been Gundelorian, but we kind of shared. We noticed some tweets, Twitter X. If you look at the first the first 10 years of the Prem, look at United's dominance and tell me if they thought it was boring. And even go back and ask, how competitive was it with the dominance that they showed? Now, if you want to say, "Oh, you keep seeing the same team winning," that's boring. Okay, that's on you. But if you're trying to say that our football is boring, nah, because I would challenge you. I would challenge any rival to tell me that Pep's played the same football year after year. Go and look. Go and look to what the Centurions did and what he's done since. This is why he maybe adds a few platinums to some fans because they're like, "What, Pep? What are you doing? What's with these changes? What are you trying to adjust here?" But the reason why he doesn't get caught is because he's consistently tweaking, changing. He's like, "Oh, this has worked, but now I see a vulnerability with me doing this," and then he kind of tweaks it the other way, trying to always stay a step ahead. It's absolutely brilliant, and the comments have been tremendous. I'm doing my best to be in the mix with all of you. Martin goes, cheeky 4 a.m. stream. Yeah, I mean UK time. It is. It is. Staffy goes, Vader. We didn't tank. Oh yeah, I mentioned that already. Four Pete champions loading. Yeah, we're kind of getting there. Staffy goes, Bruno failed a last minute. Ooh, a last minute air quotes fitness test, and Rashford was ruled out for a few games in a row. Hmm. Hmm. Section says Sunday is going to be great. I can't wait. I can't wait either, man. I can't wait. I think there's going to be a few watch alongs. I'm debating whether I'm going to do one myself. I'm definitely going to pop in maybe at halftime, maybe at previews, definitely post game. Um, it's going to be heavy City related, my channel related. So again, if you guys want to hear my take, if you want to hear some of the takes from those in the comments that mess with me, it's going to take place on my channel. So please subscribe. Please be a part of that. Final Day Sunday. Final Day Sunday is going to be epic. Monday is going to be insane. If you haven't seen me rant, okay? You haven't seen me rant. I feature on a few channels where I do get the ability to kind of flow, just speak my mind, quote unquote, uninterrupted. There's a few other channels where, based off the show design, no fault, the show design, I don't quite get the flow this way. Monday, no, not Monday because we're doing the parade. Tuesday will be a Vader. It's going to be Vader Happy Angry Hour. It's going to be Vader Happy Angry Hour. Because there's going to be a lot of happiness and there's going to be a lot of anger in this hour. I'm just going to let it all out. The season's over. We'll have FA Cup, but I'm going to need to vent. Tuesday, I'm going to make sure I get that in the calendar. City goes, Feed Pete incoming, 100%. Staffy goes, they both got limited minutes today. They did, but they did have an impact, Staffy. Come on now. You know that. I meant you were live for 4 a.m. Oh my God. I got you, Martin. Section goes 352. And everybody earlier coming from the TJ raid, much appreciated. The raid is great. And I love it. Hopefully what I'm speaking about, you're enjoying. Sometimes to be disrupted with what I'm trying to do show-wise to then obviously interact with the chat is difficult to do. But I'm appreciative nonetheless. I hope that makes sense to you. City Sharks, party on Sunday. Oh, it's got to be City Sharks. It's got to be. Mancunian Way goes, no parade will be no parade will be 30th, mate. Not those. Ooh, once Sunday ends, all focus. Ooh, the Monday of the FA Cup then. The Monday after. Okay, then should I rant on the Monday? All right, I'm ranting on the Monday then. Thanks for the clarity, man. Thanks for the clarity. I mixed up my dates. Now, final topic. Let's do this. All right. Oof. Final. Vader game. All right. We've had this conversation for a while, and I appreciate everybody in the chat. All the comments as well. DC in the building. He goes, Martin, you're still awake. You're a star. Martin, I don't know how Martin does it. I really don't. Everybody in the chat, I see there's nearly 100 of you interacting, mess with me right now. If you're not on YouTube, take the time to go over there. If you are on YouTube, make sure you get those likes up. All right, get the likes up. Hit that. That's currency for this channel for me. All right, that'll get this channel to grow. And everybody that's been subbing, thank you so much. I'm there. I'm moving. I'm getting there. I'm creeping and I'm creeping and I'm creeping. I'm trying to get to that 1K. Let me start the clock. Now, Liverpool, Gunnar, we've been talking about like this title chase was going to be, last season was a little off. Klopp, for whatever reason, didn't have the energy last year, didn't have the right tactics, instructions. They fell off. They fell out of top four. They had to compete in Europa this year. We thought the bounce back was going to happen, and we had a 3-horse title race for a good portion. I think it was as late as match week 30, match week 31, I think. I'm going to give you my theory on why they fell off. You tell me if you agree or have your own take. But when a manager says that he's tired, and obviously the manager doesn't put in the same energy, puts in different energy to the players. But you think of the players in the run that they've had to make over the years, and then you think of Klopp and him expressing his fatigue. I think his announcement to leave, I think the pressure to have to, quote unquote, in their eyes, their words, play perfect, and the pressure of winning the title with not just City to worry about, but also Arsenal. I think Liverpool and the pressure, funny enough, is what was too much for them in the final year for Klopp. It was the actual pressure to win a league title with a manager like Klopp that had them falling off, had them fading away. Do you see things differently with why there was such a not able to keep up with the races, not being the mentality monsters that they've branded themselves? Liverpool pressure, was it too much, or you see it another way? If you're speaking, I can't hear you. I might have, are you there? I might have lost Gunalorian. I'll wait for him to get back, but I'm gonna speak on this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I was asking you, what do you credit Liverpool's fall off from this title race? What do you think it really boils down to?
I mean, I think it boils down to just cycle coming to an end
Mm,
and really just rebuilding, restructuring, and getting back onto it. Really, that's it. It's tough to go again and again and again. They've competed with us year after year, and sometimes it's just too much. And why is Klopp leaving? He's tired. He's worn out. He's worn down. So
And if
it's
he,
one of the things.
yeah, and if he's tired, the players have got to be tired, right? Like the
Yeah,
players have got to be like, damn, I got to do this fight to the very end again.
yeah. Sometimes you need a different voice too, right? I mean, the magic of Guardiola, I think, is the fact that somehow he's finally figured out a way to talk to these same players to go again,
Mm,
again, 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 and again. I mean, how do you do that? How do you yourself go again? You know,
yeah,
unless you're
yeah.
obsessed with the game itself, the pattern you're trying to create, and you're not,
I
you're not.
think
Yeah,
mm, uh, Mancunian way goes. I don't think any manager announcing mid-season they're going. Oh, I don't like any manager announce. I agree. I think the announcement was a little problematic, but to fall off the way they did, because they did perform well when the announcement happened. But I think when things set in to be like
pressure, Peter.
pressure, and he's not here moving forward.
When there's already pressure of trying to win a title against this insane team. I think and Arsenal were incredible this season. Are incredible this season as well. And
Yeah.
then you add the pressure of that plus the fact that he's leaving. Can you reach those heights again? It's very difficult.
You know what, City? There was a point where I wasn't on the same page as this. I didn't think that anything Klopp could do exiting would be embarrassing, but I do think that 2 seasons in a row falling behind Arteta for this exit is
Mm,
embarrassing, and I think it also doesn't help when you've heard him say, "I cannot compete with Manchester City." It's not even Manchester City why he's not why he's out of the mix. There's another
mm.
club ahead of him right now, and I do agree this is embarrassing. A lot of the things that he said over the years, it's not computing. It doesn't add up. So
He's an emotional guy, right? He's a very emotional guy, and you get that sometimes from people like that.
mm,
Um, yeah,
yeah, I
he
agree.
also did Liverpool.
DC goes, Liverpool, like United, are collapsing under the weight of their own self-importance. History and heritage merchants can't keep resting on your laurels. DC, every time I hear a Manchester City fan like just speak on this is amazing, like what 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 we're witnessing is huge. I never dreamt of this. I never expected this. I actually smile. I'm actually like, yes, the arrogance isn't there. The spoiledness, the just the outright
Yeah,
just the outright like expected success is just insane. So when United, Liverpool say, we're Liverpool, we're United, we should be, I laugh. I
yeah.
laugh every time they do that because like this is sport, and also let me bring this full circle. Those of you in the chat were saying, Vader, it seems like you're talking to yourself. Yeah, sometimes I do. I like to hear myself speak. I've had to see Toronto FC Yeah, MLS, soccer. Okay. I had to
Mhm.
see Toronto FC not be successful to be successful. I had to go also to attend games when they weren't great, but I wanted to see my local club play. I remember when the Toronto Raptors came into existence. I remember when they weren't good. I remember when they became good with the Vince Carters and then they Chris Bosches and then
Mhm.
actually Kawhi Leonard to win. I've seen all of that stuff, but I know how it's not like now that you've won it, you don't look at quote unquote your team to be like, we demand to be here every year. Sport doesn't quite work that way. Look at the New York Knicks. Staffy in the building. I think Mike Dawes, East Coast as well. The Knicks have been bummy for years, right? There's no we are the Knicks. We last won in the 60s or 70s. We demand to be winning every time. Like when you have when you understand what the sport is and when you understand where improvements need to happen to be able to consistently compete, you get it. And to come across so arrogant, like you are what this sport needs to be, this sport this sport will move on without you. The Liverpool fans, United fans, Arsenal fans, all of you, you don't need you don't need to be good for this league to progress. That's clear.
Yeah.
That is clear because quote unquote, and this is not a slight, Jacob Spurs, but Spurs have showed you that you can be financially progressive without necessarily having hardware. So United, Liverpool, you guys continue to exist. The league can continue to have financial advantages with you not necessarily raising trophies. That is clear. Look how long it's been for United. Look how long it was for Liverpool. Let's not y'all you guys need to fix up. And I know I'm getting a little long-winded.
Yeah.
It's 1 hour 14 minutes. I'm ending this show at 1:15. Um, I want everybody in the comments, please don't take this as a slight and me not getting a chance to speak or share your comments and be a mix. I see Mike Dawes in the middle. He goes,
Yeah. Wait a minute. My battery's about to die, so I may just sign off.
"Oh, Gundo, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciative. I'll let you know moving forward on future shows. Thanks for being
Mhm.
able to join this one, man. I really appreciate your feedback."
Yeah.
Mike Daz goes, that's disingenuous, DC, because without Pep, Klopp would have 3 titles. It's just an unlucky era to have our best Premier League manager in. That's simple. That is true. However, he would also, quote unquote, had given league titles to Arteta. Arguably, let's say if we're removing City, right, Mike? If we're removing City, Klopp would have 3 titles. Arteta would have 2. It's gets a little sticky when you look at it that way, right? But we're at 1:15, 30 seconds in. I'm abruptly ending this show, but I hope you guys appreciate it, know what I'm doing with everything here. All of your comments, I will go back and check out. My next show my next show, please subscribe. You'll know when my next show is. I've already done the thumbnail, I believe. It's in the notifications. I'm Vader Games. This is Vader Games TV. Episode 103. Manchester City are more than world class. Are more than world class. And one game away to add to history. It's not like we don't have it, it's to add to history. And I'm also going to go. Martin corrected me. I'm going to go on the most long-winded rant on Monday. We need to win this league. I'm Vader Games. I'm out. Everybody, DC, My Gal, Rose, Martin, Mancunian Way, Sections, AJ, Sunshine, TJ, Staffy, Daz, Jacob, Section, who City Sharks. I know I'm missing a few of you, but love as always. I'm gonna be back with another show. I'm out.